Hey guys, Crystal coming on, and I am coming on with the cutest little box that I found on Pinterest. The other day I was just scrolling through Pinterest and I come across this box and I thought that is just too stinking cute. I want to make it. So I did, and I want to share it with you, and I'm going to do a quick tutorial, and hopefully we can get through this thing because I think you might want to make it yourself. But anyway, while I was scrolling, this just popped up on my feed, and I went to her link, and she does walk you through how she did it. So I pretty much followed that, but I changed the dimensions because your box may be different from my box, depending on the size of your rectangle scallop dies. So I'll show you that in a minute. But, yeah, it's a Neapolitan ice cream box. And here it is. Look at that. Isn't that adorable? I just love it. And then you take the lid off, and there you go. You got a nice little box right there for your goodies. But isn't that adorable? What a great way to present your little gifts. I love it. Don't it look like a little ice cream? This is my favorite summer treat. Neapolitan ice cream sandwich. Isn't that adorable? Stick around if you want to know how to make it. And let's get to it. Okay. So I watched a video because I was having trouble. I wanted my base to be reinforced. I don't like just a regular box. I just, where you just cut 4 flaps on the corners and glue them together. I like it to be, my sides to be reinforced. So when I was making my lid, I kept having trouble with it not fitting. So I went and looked up some videos on YouTube, and this lady, God bless her, I don't even remember who she was, but she said how to make a perfect box lid fit every time is to make it 1/16 of an inch smaller, your base. Your base needs to be 1/16 inch smaller. So I don't really deal in 1/16, and it's intimidating to a lot of us, but I'm going to show you, even on my trimmer does not have 1/16 on it. It only is in 1/8 inch increments. So I'm going to show you. Well, I'm going to show you right here. I drew it a little diagram. So if this is the 6-inch mark, and say you have a 6-inch piece of paper or cardstock that you're going to cut, it's that tiniest little mark before the 6. You want to back up 1/16 of an inch on 2 sides of your cardstock. So it's that tiny little mark. See, this would be the 8th mark, but it's the tiny mark right before the 6. Anyway, I'm going to show you that on my trimmer because I don't have 16th marks on my trimmer. Okay, for this, I used some 5mm foam, the brown to represent the wafer part, the cookie part. And get this at Hobby Lobby for $1.29. It comes in a big old sheet, 12 by 18 inch, but this is all I've got left of mine. So, you see how thick it is? You don't have to use that thick of a foam. That's just what I had. So that's what I used. And you're going to need some rectangular scallop dies. Now for this one, this box that I made, my first one, I used this largest rectangle. But for the video today, I figured we'd go down one size, and I'm using the smaller. And I'm going to show you how my brain works. This is how I figure out my box sizes. I'm sure there's probably a better way to do it, but I don't know. But this is how I do it. All right. So I cut my 2 pieces out of that next to the biggest rectangle. Cut my pieces out. And then what I do, you want to leave about a 1/4 inch border around the edge so that you can see the wafer, So I just measure, come in about a 1/4 inch and measure. So what I do, once I've measured and got my measurements, which was 2 1/4 by 6 3/4, that's how big of an area I want my box to be. I go ahead and I cut me just a piece of scrap paper with that measurement, 2 1/4 by 6 3/4. Then I lay it down to make sure it's going to look right on my piece, and it does. All right, now this is my box size that I want the finished box to be. So what I do then is, if I want this to be a reinforced box, meaning the sides are reinforced, making it stronger, then I need to add 2 inches to every side. So I would lay my ruler down at 2 inches to the left of this, and then you would see exactly, well, you need 4 inches total. 2 inches on this side, 2 inches on this side. So then you would add, to the length, you would add 4 inches to the 6 3/4, which is my length. That's 6 3/4. I'm going to add 4 inches to that. That gives me 10 3/4. Then I'm going to do the same for the width. I'm going to add 2 inches on either side. So I add 4 to the 2 1/4. That gives me 6 1/4. So that's, but if you just wanted to make a basic box, no reinforcement, you would only add 1 inch per side on either side. And then you would add 2 inches. See, 1 inch here, 1 inch here, 1 inch here, 1 inch here. So that would be 2 plus 6 3/4, 2 plus 2 1/4. And that would give you your size. But then, once you figure out what you want to do, we're going to make the reinforced, okay? So we're going to go with a 6 1/4 by 10 3/4 inch piece of cardstock. And I cut mine in the cream. That way I already have the cream color, and all I have to do to cut my chocolate pieces, or my chocolate and strawberry strips, you know what I'm saying. If I would have made that white or whatever, it wouldn't have worked. So I made my box cream. So, oh, where am I? Okay, once you get your piece cut, 6 1/4 by 10 3/4, I'm going to bring my trimmer over and show you what I'm talking about. Then we need to trim off 1/16 off of 2 sides. And I'm going to show you what I am talking about. Let me get my trimmer. All right. See, here's my trimmer. I'm going to bring this up so you can see. I need, all right, right here is my 10 3/4 inch. See where my fingernail is? But I don't have 16th marks here. So I know my paper is going to come and rest right here because I cut it at 10 3/4. Then I need to slide it back in between that mark and the next one. That would be the 16th mark if it were there. So I just slide it in between those 2 marks, just ever so slightly. Just slide it back and trim. And then you would turn it on the other side. Let me show you. I've already done it, but I'm going to show you. All right. So this would be 10 3/4. Let me show you. If I can hold it up here. There's 10 3/4. Slide it back just in between 10 3/4 and this mark. Okay? And then trim. And then you're going to do the same when you cut your 6 1/4. You're going to bring, there's your 6 1/4. You're going to slide it back ever so slightly and trim. And it does make a difference with the way my lids have fit ever since that lady did that video and showed me. So kudos to her. All right, now that we've got it cut, let me bring my scoreboard over. Oh, and for the lid, let me tell you this. On the lid, we are not going to reinforce the lid because we're going to be adding these strips around the edges of the lid. So that's going to reinforce that because I wrapped it around the edges. So the lids, the lid's going to be a lot simpler. But we can do this. We're crafters. We know how to do this. Okay. So now that you've got your 6 1/4 by 10 3/4 trimmed 1/16 off of each one side, the short side and the long side, now we're ready to score. All you do is score at 1 and 2 on all 4 sides. Easy peasy. So we're going to do that. 1 and 2. Turn it. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. I know most of you know how to make a box already, but there are some people out there who don't. And I'm telling you, I've struggled for as long as I've been crafting with 1/16 of an inch. They just intimidate me. If somebody's doing a project and they throw up a 1/16 of an inch on there, I just turn it. Seriously, I'm not intimidated by it anymore because I studied it a little bit. I actually went online. I Googled it. Oh, let me show you how we're going to cut this. Quit talking so much. All right. So this middle part is the box. We're going to keep a flap on either side. So we're going to remove these outer 3 boxes on each end. Flip it around. Just the outer 3 we are going to get rid of. All right. This is going to go a little bit faster because I've already got my box made, glued together, but I'm just going to cut this to show you how we do it. In the center, we're going to cut straight up on that score line, and I cut away the score line. You know what I'm saying? You don't want the score line, any of that score line left. So just cut up to that second score line right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut this away. We're cutting that whole piece away. And then we're going to trim this down right here. Cutting that away like that. And then we're going to miter in on that tab. I can miter in a little bit more on this one. So we're just creating a little tab. Okay. Do the same thing right here. Straight up. Always remember the middle of the box. Your cut should always be straight right here. Your tabs are what you miter, not the box itself. And then I'm going to go ahead and miter up to there. Turn around. And this is part of the flap, so you're going to cut straight. I should have told you that. Cut straight on that score line right there. And then we're going to cut that one away. So now we've got 2 tabs. 2 tabs. And then the other's going to fold over in the box. I know I could do a better job explaining this, but I'm going to do this quickly so that I can get to it. I'm going to glue one end with you. Show you how it's done. And I know a lot of people, they go ahead and score their stuff as soon as they fold it as soon as they score it. I don't like to do that. I like to see my score lines clearly so that I can cut it away. You know what I'm saying? See how I'm cutting the score line away? Cut up to that second one. Miter in. Cut up here, mitering to that second score mark. Cut both of those away. I could have done a better job with that one. There we go. And then cut this one away. All right, and that's what you should have for your base. Okay, let me move all this, and then we're going to glue. Now's when I fold. Let me sit down. I'm probably yelling at you because I'm right in the microphone. But anyway, then you fold just like this. Fold your box. Fold these in. Fold that in. Okay. Now, when we are gluing, you just put glue on your tab. Y'all know how to make a box. Line it up, making sure it's straight in the corner. Make sure you've got a straight corner. Then I sit it up on its edge. Did I even tell y'all about what size you needed for your lid? I don't think I did. We're going to do it here in a minute. All right. Then you glue your two ends together like so, making a straight edge here. There you go. Then I go in with my bone folder, get it really stuck down. Do the same on this end. And I'm not going to do this next part on camera because I've already got my box made so that I wouldn't take too long on this video. But all right, once your tabs are done, then this is the outer flap. You put glue on that and you fold it in. And then take your bone folder and reinforce that. Do the same over here and then fold those in and glue those in. Done. Then you'll end up with a finished box that looks like this. This is your base. Okay? So that's done. Now we're going to move on to the lid. For the lid, you need a piece of paper. Here we go. Let me see what you can see. All right. For the lid, you need a 4 1/4 by 8 3/4 inch piece. You don't need to trim anything off of that. Fully 1 1/4 by 8 3/4. Then you just score at 1 inches on all 4 sides. So let me bring my scoreboard back in. I should have scored this beforehand. Sorry. I kept debating whether I was going to do this at all, but I thought this is just too stinking cute not to share it. I think you guys will enjoy making this because it's super fun and it's so stinking cute. I'm probably going to keep one in my craft room just because it's cute. Okay. All right, we've scored at 1 inch all the way around. This is your lid. So I'm going to turn mine to the side. I'm going to cut up on each side and just make a little, cut in a little miter. Turn it around, do the same thing. Cut up, cut a little miter. This is just a basic box. And it don't matter about the lid because, like I said, we're going to be adding those strips to make the ice cream. Or make it look like the ice cream. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, this is just basic instruction. Then you're going to fold on all your scores, yada yada. Y'all know how to make a box. Then you would fold your corners in and glue your tabs just like that all the way around. Y'all know how to make a box. All right. So then once you're done with that, you will have a lid. These are marks and I'll explain why in a minute. But there's my lid done. Okay, moving on. Let's get to the fun parts. Okay, this is our lid. So you just want to determine how much chocolate do you want, how much strawberry do you want, and vanilla. I just tried to, what I did was, see, your box may not measure the same. Your rectangle scallop dies may be a different size than what I'm using. So I'm trying to explain to you how you figure out your dies. But once you get your lid made, just measure it. Mine's 6 3/4. So if I divide that by 3, that gives me 2 1/4. So that's where I made a mark, 2 1/4. Then I'll have 2 1/4 vanilla. This will be chocolate. This will be vanilla. And this will be strawberry. But I want to wrap mine around. Let me show you what I'm talking about. All right. You're going to need a strip of brown for the chocolate. your strips are 1 by 6 3/4. Okay. Then I'm going to line up my chocolate strip here with that mark that I made, kind of cover it a little bit. And then I'm going to wrap it all the way around the box like that and glue it on there. And then I'll take a pink piece, measuring the same, 1 by 6 3/4, and I'm going to wrap it around the other end, and that gives me the chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. So that's how I came up with that. Let's go ahead and glue. What I do though is I cover the mark, and then just with your finger kind of mold it. You see what I'm saying? Like that. So you can see where to put your glue. So I'm just going to be generous with my glue down here. And I'm going to come up and cover that mark just a little bit. And then sit your box down on a flat surface and make sure that it's level with the table. Don't worry about the top. The foam's going to cover that. Just make sure it's level with the table. All right, see, I've got it attached on this side. Now, I'm just going to add glue here and wrap it on around. We're just going to keep going. So, just wrap it and make sure that it's level at the bottom. Don't worry about the top, just the bottom. And you can just use your fingers. And then wrap this around. And then I'm going to reinforce that with my bone folder, which I should have done on all 4 sides, but I did not. So I'm doing it now. That way it's good and stuck. All right, so now we have our chocolate. And like I said, don't worry about the top. If you see some of the cream showing, you'll never see it once we attach the wafer part. All right, we're going to do the same thing with our strawberry strip. I've got a little mark here. I marked off 2 1/4 inches, and then I marked off 2 1/4 from this end. I'm going to cover that little mark just a hair so you don't see it, and start gluing. This was so fun to make, guys, and it turned out so stinking cute. That's why I wanted to share it with you. I just think you'll love it. It's so cute. Okay, then I'm going to fold with my finger, crease it. Then I'm going to bring it over here, push and crease it. There we go. Come back and put the glue. I ain't the best at tutorials, but I hope you can understand what I'm saying. Oh, my fingers look hideous. All right. And then just wrap it around. All right. We're fixing to have the moment of truth, whether or not the lid fits the box, by trimming that 1/16 off. All right, there's our chocolate, guys. Isn't that cute? All right, here's our base, and here is our lid. Look at that. Like a glove. Fits so cute. All right, and then the last thing we need to do is attach the base to the bottom of your, pick which one you want to be your bottom. And I'm going to put glue all over. Doggone it. My glue is not wanting to come out. Ooh, I just totally sat that down on the mat. Hold on 1 second. Don't you hate it when your glue gets stuck while you're in the middle of filming? That's so aggravating. That is a big pet peeve of mine. And it's doing it again. Freaking thing. Not today, Satan. Take your hands off my glue in the name of Jesus. Okay. So, there we go. We're going to glue this to the leave about 1/4 of an inch on each side. Sorry for my head, my gray hair. You get to see my wonderful gray. Okay, there we go. Just let that sit. Actually, I should take, let me take my, dang it. I should have had my lid off anyway. Let me put some more on there. Don't you hate it when your glue dries before you're ready? There we go. That looks about, yep, that looks about good. Then I'm going to press that down and just let that sit for a few minutes while we work on our lid. To make the little holes, where's my other one? To make these little holes, she said she used the end of a paintbrush. I tried that. It did not work. The indentions would not stay. So I just picked my pencil. Take my pencil and I'm going to push it down in there and twist it. And there you have a perfect little hole. And then just put random holes all over the top of your cookie. I don't know if it's a cookie, a cake, whatever. Just random holes here and there. Ain't got to be perfect. This is a handmade craft after all. But it does turn out looking just like a Neapolitan ice cream sandwich. And I think that's just stinking adorable. So cute. And it's a functional box. That's what I love about it. Wouldn't that be the cutest way to present some gifts to your friend or your family? Anybody who don't like ice cream sandwiches. Come on. I prefer the Neapolitan over a regular ice cream sandwich myself. Good enough. And there we have our finished top. So now we need to bring in our lid. And I have the chocolate going first, then the vanilla, then the strawberry. I want less vanilla, more chocolate, more strawberry. Anyway, all right, just add your glue to the top. And when this gets hard and once the glue dries, guys, it makes picking this lid up off of your box. Hold on. I want to make sure I get it right. That looks good to me. Then flip it over. That's good. Take your ruler or something and just smush that glue down. Then bring it over and voila. We have an ice cream sandwich. Isn't that adorable? I love it. Absolutely love it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial today. Oh, I can't believe I took the time to do it because I've got to go to work. In fact, it's time for me to get in the shower. I love you guys. Miss you guys. Tell me what you think. And please try to make one because they're so super fun. Okay, we'll talk later. Bye.